Hey, this is Dave from metalepidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What is up, guys? Dave here from Metal Epidemic, back with another album review. And for this review, Duncan Kyle and myself have been checking out the new album from Swedish Beaver Grind duo Belarus Beaver. The band's new album, Planet of the Beavers, is out November 27th via Grind to Death Records. Okay.
I mean, Planet of the Beavers. Planet of the Beavers is what I called my entire year of being 24 years old.
I hope they come out with a poster that is a picture of a beaver on the beach with the Statue of Liberty falling over and the big words, "Damn you!"
Yeah, I love that you're going. I love that you're going for the actual beaver, the animal. And what was working for me was that they could have an album called "Return of the Clunge," which I would totally fucking listen to 100 times over. So I'm going down the dirty beaver. You're going down the clean beaver.
Yep, as expected. As expected.
I do prefer a clean beaver.
Yeah, you know, like from Dave's haircut at the moment, I'm assuming that Dave's going for the shaved beaver.
Anyway,
Brazilian wax beaver.
You should see my haircut. It's half and half.
If there's a song called Landing Strip, they have a fan for life. Just saying, just fucking saying. Yeah.
When I saw the genre of this album was Swedish Beaver Grind, I couldn't not add it to our review pile.
Well, you could have.
How could you pass on discussing Beaver Grind? It's not possible. It's just not. Everything about this album is about beavers.
Yeah, that is true. That's a factual statement.
The band name, the album title, the song titles about beavers, the movie samples in the album were all beaver related.
Yep.
I'm assuming the lyrics are as well, but who knows? But if I'm honest, part of me thought this was going to be a fun album to talk about, but actually shit to listen to, and that's me being totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
How I was like, how could a band that is so infatuated with beavers be any good? I mean, the artwork is 4 beavers attacking astronauts on the moon.
Yep. By the way, it's a conspiracy.
Seen the video.
Yeah.
And what does Belarus Beaver mean? I mean, I assumed I read they were Swedish.
I'm just going with alliteration. I think that's
make sense.
I think that's literally what they've done with that. Beaver in the title. Pick a place. Belarus. That'll work. Go.
If you Google Belarus Beaver, it is just a huge list of stories about beaver attacks on people in Belarus.
Well, Make sure you Google that in safe mode, right?
Yeah.
I
got a completely different. I think it leans more into my search histories in general. Google's algorithm gave me a completely different thing. There's plenty of beaver attacking, if you know what I mean, but it was with large, erect cocks, Dave.
Well, okay. Nice. I don't know. Did this band know something that we don't? Is there a beaver attack impending? It would surprise me in 2020, that's for sure.
Be a toothy affair, wouldn't it?
The beaver puns are just going to keep on rolling on this review.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, right. Let's get on to the actual album itself. When the first track, The Beaver God, kicked in, any preconceived ideas I had about this being shite were actually undone, because the first thing that I thought of when this track started playing was Bloodduster.
Yes.
This band, for me, have a very Bloodduster type feel about them.
I 100% agree. We're gonna get to it. Bloodduster is in my notes, Dave. So
excellent. the style of riffs, the phrasing of a lot of the vocals remind me of Bloodduster. Even their use of samples is very Bloodduster. They don't take themselves too seriously, clearly. And even though the kind of main theme of their music is fairly amusing, they're actually pretty decent musicians. I mean, the playing is tight. The drumming in particular I thought was great. The riffs are pretty interesting. And although the vocal style is fairly constant in its style and attack, they fit very well with what's going on around them. And I like the guy's tone as well. And even though they class themselves as a grind band, they do add other styles into the mix. The second track, Beaver Divisions, it's got a kind of great mix of tempos. It had these like thick, chugging, like buzzsaw riffs that's kind of blended with that almost like the kind of punk-laced grind that you'd hear from bands like Brutal Truth or Napalm Death. And actually, as the album went on, I was starting to hear all these different changes in tempo and rhythm, and I was starting to hear like little things that would put me in mind of bands like Aborted or Nasum or Brujeria, even Ling Che, the Belgian band. They incorporated a lot of those kind of like slower moments. It almost goes into like a sludgy, like stoner territory. You could hear them swaying that way on tracks like The Mark and E.A. Castor, which I thought was pretty cool. My favourite track of the album, though, was probably Beavers Killed Jesus. Firstly, because beavers killed Jesus, but it slowly kind of lures you in with this like melodic build-up, and I was kind of unsure where they were going to go with it. But then that main riff, the kind of groove riff that kicks in, so infectious. Like I was humming that riff for hours after listening to the album, and like a lot of the other tracks, it kind of keeps you engaged with the tempo changes and the rhythm changes. They do it very seamlessly. I did also like the kind of punkier traits on Planet of the Beavers. Quite a kind of hard hitting, it's very much a kind of straight for the jugular type track. And there's not many tracks in this go above like 2 minutes. The album was over in under 20 minutes. And because of that, I found myself playing it like a couple of times every time I listened to it. What you guys making this, Duncan? I know what you're like with this type of music. It can go either way, so I'm interested to hear what you thought of this Beaver Grind duo.
I played it twice and I'll never play it again. It's probably the way I'm going to lean into this, and not because there's anything particularly bad on it at all. I think what they do is very well. Interestingly enough, I picked up the Bloodduster traits, but what stood out to me is Bloodduster are the infinitely superior band. I think the experiment with small bits that I think are really interesting, and before they can even begin to flesh out a cool trait, they just drop it and move back to they have imagine someone having a particular speed, right? That they like to travel at. And every now and again they have to overtake a car, right? So to overtake that car, they go slightly faster, but then straight as soon as that car's passed, they're right back in their lane, right back to that speed. That is basically this band for me. Every time I started to feel like something was going to get interesting, they completely abandon it. Like just at the point where I think, all right, this could be right. We're doing something. No, it's like because the songs are so short in length, which is the kind of unfortunately is the cross that you have to bear in this genre. I mean, that is literally, songs are never going to be longer than 2.5 minutes long. You never really get much of a chance to experience much else out with it. And to me, this particular genre, the kind of grindcore, noisecore sort of stuff, is best served by the bands that do stuff that takes you out with that. Think of bands like Pig Destroyer, who really mix like a great use of atmosphere along with that, so that they're not scared to put in, like a 2 minute like eerie something and it fits the aesthetic. Or a band like Napalm Death, who we've listened to their new album, which I would say is still very much a kind of grindcore, noisecore album, but listen to what they do in that, and then listen to this, and it just feels very I don't want to say the word generic, but it just feels generic. There's nothing in here that is particularly remarkable at all. And then what it leaves me with is, well, let's see what the rest of the band's doing. And yeah, I love I love the idea of the kind of beaver thing. But it got a bit tiresome. It was like a joke that's funny the first time you hear it, and then by the 20th time you've heard it, it's no longer funny. I thought the samples were actually quite clever. There's at least 2 in there that I know. One being from Zombievers, which if you're ever referencing Zombievers, that is, you make me a happy guy. It's one of the best kind of quirky whack-a-mole fucking horror movies ever made. So that's in my lane. But yeah, I think it finished, and whereas you were compelled, and when I was listening to this, the first thing that went through my head is, oh, this is a Davey album. I could just tell, this is a Davey album. Like you see, this genre in particular is hit or miss for me, and very much like the black metal genre, which we've talked about a couple of times. The stuff that makes me interested is when this is used not as the driving force, but as an element that's added. So to me, what would have been really interesting is all the other stuff they do, and there's a couple of absolutely fucking banging riffs on this. Planet the Beavers that you were talking about is, in my opinion, the best song on this, because it is so just like angsty and kind of grunty and just right to the point, and powers through it. But then you get little clips of other things in songs. There's like a punkier bit, and then there's a kind of groovier, thrashier bit. Like, I hear that, and then I'm like, right, that's interesting. We're not taking this any further. We don't get a whole song of that, or it's just like it's a throwaway reference to it, almost as if they're like that. Yeah, we could do this if we wanted to, but we're not gonna. And interestingly enough, that's kind of what I wish they brought to the table. It just, to me, is the sort of album that I listen to twice and say, you know what? Not again.
See, I totally disagree. I think I like the fact that it changes so much. It kept me interested. Like, I love that they just play a riff for like 20 seconds. I'll be like, oh, that was cool, and then it stops.
It's like someone flicking through channels. It's like someone flicking through. You're trying to watch the TV, and someone's flicking through channels, and you hear someone like you flip on. It's like that. The Secret of Life. The flip to channel. I'm like, whoa. The Secret of Life is what? And the next thing is, to get rich, you need to. And I'm like, we'll flip the channel again. Every time my interest was slightly piqued, they abandoned it.
But that's fine for normal metal bands that are doing 3-4 minute tracks, but stuff like this, it's like a couple of minutes. That's all you need. That's all you want. 20 seconds is something, then jump into something, another style, another bit of tempo, another rhythm, stuff like that.
It's why I'm not a massive fan of the genre. Like I said,
Bloodduster do it exactly the same.
I think Bloodduster do it a million times better though. I think Bloodduster,
same structure, same ideas. It's the same formula.
Yeah, to me, Bloodduster give you more of it though. Like I think the riff doesn't just play once and then they abandon it. You get a good like 30-40 seconds or something. Some of the ideas that are flung out here are literally just like, we're going to play the riff 3 times and then abandon it. And like I say, that's fine if it's just one off. But then when you've got a collection of songs that use that as a repetitive kind of stylistic use, to me it was.
That's grindcore though.
Yeah, and you opened it up by saying,
think about bands like Pig Destroyer. They do that all the time. They throw in riffs just out of nowhere, and it lasts for that, and it's done. It's on to something else. Destroyer,
to me, Pig Destroyer as an album conceptually, not just like song by song, as an album conceptually, will mix up other things by using atmosphere and tone, which make the overall listening experience worthwhile. To me, this was just very bat, which is the very reason when you handed it over to me, you said, I know these sort of things are hit and miss for you. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. This is a miss. So,
disagree, but anyway, Kyle.
I'm right in the middle of you two.
Oh, get off the fence. That's not comfortable.
Literally and figuratively. Now, it was good for a couple of listens, but I think, I'm probably not going to go back to that much. But I mean, it's funny as hell for like 4 songs, and then it's like, oh, all of your songs are about beavers?
Yep. I do like Damn Mark. Damn Mark as a title is fucking brilliant, so I will give them that. And When God Made Beavers, He Fucked Us All is just, I mean, that made me smile. So
yeah, that's my favourite song title. That and Beavers Killed Jesus just makes me goddamn crack up, scream. But it wears thin. I know the songs are really short, and the album's like 10 minutes long. But it's like by the end of it, you're like, okay, you found a joke, you liked it that much, you ran with it for so long. Well, so short, but I mean, but considering they're a duo, I think it's actually pretty good effort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know if any of them are actually drumming or if it's a drum machine. Probably is just a drum machine. I mean, the speed that they're playing is like whoa. But I mean, to be honest, I was quite impressed with that. But for the most part, I'm like, that was a fun listen. I wish them well.
Yeah, musically, they're very good at what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've not like I'm not saying they're shirking their responsibilities because they can't play. No. They can clearly play, and they can clearly play a lot of different styles.
And you can tell they definitely had the best time doing this stuff.
Oh yeah,
like they were cracking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, going, "What if we call a song right?"
I think I think more time was spent actually naming the songs than it was writing and recording the album.
Yeah,
because it's got a theme, and they drive that theme home right to the end,
right to the front door, and possibly through it too.
What did you think production wise, Kyle?
I mean, it's clearly a drum machine. I'm not just saying that. It is. I mean, every little MIDI thing is right there. But I mean, to be honest, it fits it. Like the production was it fit it. It wasn't overdone, but it wasn't underdone either. The guitar tone was really like ripping, and it was like you could tell they were playing, and it wasn't edited to an inch of its life. So I thought it fit it really well. And I mean, I'm just not a fan of overdone production, but I mean, this really did work. And considering it's a duo, I'm not going to shit on them for using a drum machine because, if you got a couple of guitarists or a guitarist and a vocalist, what you're going to do is like, oh, okay, fall to the floor beat, let's be AC/DC,
Yeah, I'm not sure. The press release never said who does what. It just gave the names of the two guys, so I'm not sure if any of them do play drums or not. Not entirely sure.
I mean, just listening to it, I'm pretty sure nobody plays that evenly. It's just impossible.
Yeah, for me, I thought the guitars were nice and meaty. I really liked the guitar sound on the album. And the bass is there, it's got plenty of weight to it, but it's still got enough character that you can hear it in amongst all the carnage that's going on. I must admit, my expectations were pretty low going in. So, and I thought it was going to be more a gimmick than anything else, to be honest. But I ended up pleasantly surprised with this. I think they've delivered a really well executed release. They've got the playing chops, as we've said. They can grind at ludicrous speeds. But I think they gave the album enough balance and groove that it doesn't become too repetitive. And for someone that likes grindcore like myself, it drew me in. This is a beaver curry for me, which is it's like a normal curry but a little hotter.
Oh, get him to fuck off this recording. Get him off this recording. In fact, burn the witch, Kyle.
We've got you on one side saying burn the witch, and the other one making the best puns I've ever heard.
No, banish him. You. Banish him. That's what I'm saying.
I was saving that right for the end.
I wonder why I didn't lean in earlier on with it.
Someone's got their claws out.
You can't see him, but Kyle's actually giving me a standing ovation right now.
By standing ovation,
this is my standing desk.
By standing ovation, you mean choking on his water? Then yes, that's what he was doing a lot.
That's the grindcore standing ovation, isn't it? Choke on your water.
Okay, so rating wise for the new album from Belarus Beaver, Planet of the Beavers. As I've said, I really enjoyed this. I can see myself going back to it and listening to it again. For me, this is a 4 out of 5. Duncan, where are you going with this album rating?
2.5. Not my bag at all.
That was Kyle choking on his water again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's right out of the 5 scale, it's right down the middle, 2.5.
Kyle, what about yourself?
I'll give it a 3.5. I mean, the riffs were good, the tones were great, the production fit it, but the Beaver theme wore a bit thin by the end of the 10-minute runtime of this album.
Nice. This one drops on November 27th on Grind to Death Records. You can check out the band online at facebook.com/Belarus Beaver Grind. I'll put a link in the description below. Let us know what you think. If you've heard the album or heard any, I think they've just dropped a single just recently. Check it out. Let us know what you think. I'm happy to hear your thoughts. Thanks for checking out the review. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.